With a coastline of more than 153,000 kilometers, the United States is proud to be one of the countries with the longest coastlines in the world. This rich power is a great resource for seafood such as halibut, cod, oysters, lobsters, or crabs. Over the past 10 years or so, the fishing industry in the United States has always brought in over $250 billion in revenue, and the industry also creates about 1.7 million jobs each year. In today's video, we will go to some waters in the United States to see how fishermen here catch millions of tons of seafood and process them at factories. In addition to commercial fishing, recreational fishing in the United States is also a very developed industry. This is an activity enjoyed by all classes of people. Each year, people engaged in recreational fishing in the United States typically spend about $51 billion on gear, permits, trips, and other fishing-related items. The first place we will visit in this video is the Chesapeake Bay, east of Maryland, a place very famous for crab fishing in the United States. Each morning, these fishermen will carry dozens or even hundreds of trap cages and go to areas with a lot of crabs to bait and set traps. The bait they use to fill the traps is mainly canned sardines. In Maryland, crabs can be found in a wide variety of salinities, from the highly saline waters of the mouth of the bay to the tidal freshwater in the upper reaches of the bay. In addition to canned sardines, chicken is also often used by fishermen to put inside traps. According to research by crab scientists in the Chesapeake Bay, the crabs usually breed in the salty waters of Virginia near the mouth of the bay, and they will spend their first days floating in the Atlantic Ocean before beginning to migrate up the bay towards Maryland. The crabs will use their sense of smell to find food, and they can detect a food source about 400 feet away. After about 30 minutes, the fishermen will pull the traps to the surface and check them once. For the blue crab fishermen in Maryland, a trap with 7 to 15 crabs in it is considered a successful trap. The harvested crabs will then be immediately transported to seafood markets or to crab meat processing factories. On average, a crab boat in Maryland will catch about 400 to 500 pounds of blue crabs per day. This is what happens at a crab meat processing plant in Louisiana. Thousands of blue crabs will be transported from the sea to here and undergo processing stages such as cleaning, steaming, and cleansing the shell. Although Maryland is famous for blue crabs, Louisiana is the state with the largest blue crab catch in the United States. Each year, Louisiana fishermen catch about 18 tons of blue crabs, representing 33% of the national production. Most of the blue crabs they catch here are shipped to Maryland, where they are sold under the name Chesapeake or Maryland crabs. Goodbye Maryland, we're off to the wetlands of Louisiana to see how the fishermen here harvest millions of crayfish. According to statistics, currently in Louisiana, there are more than 1,200 crayfish farms, with a total area of up to 127,000 acres. This is a factory that processes sardines for the purpose of trapping crayfish in the farms in Louisiana. In addition, the sardines at this factory are also sold to fishermen who catch other seafood, such as crabs or lobster. The crayfish season in Louisiana usually starts from November and lasts until July the next year. This is when about 1,300 crayfish fishermen come here to work, alongside more than 1,200 crayfish farmers. Basically, the process of catching crayfish is similar to catching crabs in Maryland. These fishermen will put bait in traps and then put them in the water. After about 30 minutes, these crayfish cages will be pulled up and the crayfish will be emptied out. Louisiana farmers harvest between 135 and 155 million pounds of crayfish each year, and the industry generates about $330 million in annual revenue. After harvesting, millions of crayfish will be washed and bagged before being sold to the market. Have you ever eaten crayfish, and how do you usually prepare them? When it comes to the livestock and fishing industry in the United States, one animal that we cannot fail to mention is the Asian carp. Introduced to the United States in the 1970s, the Asian carp has until now been considered an invasive species in the United States. With their rapid reproduction rate and voracious appetite, they can disrupt ecosystems and overwhelm native fish species. Currently, to control Asian carp populations, governments and fishermen in the United States regularly organize large-scale Asian carp catches in areas such as the Mississippi River Basin. In addition, in small areas, the use of electric shock to destroy populations of Asian carp is also a solution that is often applied. Fishermen in the United States are encouraged to catch and remove Asian carp from affected waterways. The harvested carp can be used for a variety of purposes, such as fertilizer, animal feed, or even human food in some cases. Hello my friends. From dairy farms in the east to cranberry marshes in the west and vast cornfields in the central area, Wisconsin agriculture is characterized by diversity and embodies a rich agricultural heritage and the best agricultural traditions of the United States. Known as America's Dairyland, Wisconsin has always been the nation's leader in dairy production, with its rolling green pastures and its iconic black and white Holstein cows dotting the landscape. Step into Wisconsin's agricultural realm and you will discover a tapestry of hardworking farmers, iconic products, and deep appreciation for the bounties of this earth. According to USDA statistics, in 2022, in Wisconsin, there are 14.3 million acres of land being used for agriculture, and the average size of a farm in this state is 223 acres. As of November 2022, there are approximately 67,000 active farms in Wisconsin, and 63% of them are crop farms. In addition, the number of dairy farms in this state also reaches nearly 12,000 farms. We are currently located in the eastern part of Wisconsin, where there are sturgeon farms to produce premium caviar. At these farms, using modern technology, fish farmers will separate female sturgeon eggs to fertilize with the sperm of male sturgeon. This process will be done in aquariums where the temperature and oxygen concentration have been optimized to perfection. Each female sturgeon usually lays about 1.3 to 2 million eggs per pregnancy, and during fertilization, the success rate is usually 75 to 90%. Currently, most varieties of sturgeon need to be raised for 5 to 9 years to be eligible for egg harvesting and caviar production. This is also one of the main reasons why caviar has been considered a luxury dish for the elite. Usually, sexual identification of sturgeon will be done when they reach 3 to 4 years of age. At this time, the female sturgeons will be transferred to another area, and the male sturgeon will be harvested for meat. As of 2022, there are only 27 active sturgeon farms in the United States, and these farms are distributed mainly in states such as California, Wisconsin, Florida, and Idaho. After about 7 to 10 years, the female sturgeon will reach a weight of 35 to 130 pounds, depending on the breed, and at this point, the egg harvesting will be done. The process of separating eggs and handling sturgeon can only be carried out by highly skilled and meticulous workers. According to the 2021 census, the amount of caviar produced in the United States is 41,300 pounds, and 37% of that is produced on farms in Wisconsin. Each year, the caviar industry in the United States brings in about $500 to $550 million in revenue. When it comes to Wisconsin agriculture, the first thing that most people will think of is the dairy farms and the famous cheese brands of this land. Once harvested, hundreds of millions of pounds of milk are sent to factories to be processed into cheese. Basically, cheese production at factories will need to go through stages such as pasteurization of milk, coagulation, cutting and stirring, cooking, and removal of whey. According to a report provided by the USDA in 2022, milk production in Wisconsin is 2.62 billion pounds, with 93% of milk production in the state used to make cheese. In recent decades, Wisconsin has always been the state with the largest cheese production in the country. Ranked in the next positions respectively are California, Idaho, and New York. Each year, dairy and cheese companies in Wisconsin generate an economic impact of about $45.6 billion. In addition, the dairy industry in this state also provides about 157,000 regular jobs. We are now located in the western part of Wisconsin. Here, solar farms are built. The breeding of some animals is also used to take advantage of the vacant land, manage vegetation, and diversify income sources. Currently, the most commonly raised animal on solar farms in Wisconsin is sheep. Hundreds of sheep are regularly grazed in the area, which will help prevent overgrowth of vegetation and reduce the efficiency of solar panels. Although not the state with the largest number of solar farms in the United States, Wisconsin agriculture is quite famous for its pattern of grazing animals in or around these farms.